Hi everyone, it's Dave Ghoul, and what you're about to listen to is a little clip from the podcast that I made with a fellow YouTuber and a close friend of mine, Simple Weeb. We've been working on that for this past month or so, which is one of the reasons why I haven't been uploading weekly and even monthly. The quality of the audio was not the best for this podcast, but hopefully, if we do another in the foreseeable future, we'll fix that. Nonetheless, it turned out pretty great, and we talk about some really cool stuff in there. So if you enjoy this clip, look forward for when it eventually gets officially released. Please enjoy safely and comfortably at home.
The tone and the whole point of the story is different. I mean, it
Yeah,
starts. It's not as tragic as the original story. It actually starts pretty light-hearted for Tokyo Ghoul standards, right?
yeah,
You
sure.
have Isaac happy with his friends, with the companions in the CCG, and it's a completely different perspective. I mean, of course, the ghouls are more oppressed than the humans. So if you're going to focus on the CCG, even though a lot of comrades in CCG have lost their lives and all that, it's still it's different. It's a different tone, and I feel like it the ending suited the re part of it. It wasn't just wrapping the whole story down, but it was wrapping the re portion of the story, and
Yeah,
and it will feel very repetitive if they ended in a tragedy. Don't you think?
yeah, because the second season ended basically in a tragedy. Kaneki basically died. We didn't actually know what happened after that. Well, in the manga, it's a little bit more specific, but
I mean,
besides that,
yeah,
we don't actually know what happens to Kaneki.
because story-wise, Kaneki's path for redemption was because in the first half of the Tokyo Ghoul story as a whole, you have Kaneki can't find salvation. It becomes very clear towards the end, at least in the manga, because Rudei again ends differently. It's a different message that they're transmitting, and that they're getting across. And I feel like with Ri, it's more so Kaneki he's going into madness, but then it's him finding salvation amongst all that madness. And
Yeah,
and the happy
absolutely.
ending suits it very well. It's because it could have ended in a tragedy. It could have. When you get to Ri, it's not as it's more natural because Kaneki ended in madness, and so the whole conflict that Heise has about I don't want to become, I don't want to become Kaneki, I don't want to lose what I have, because he knows that Kaneki's life was only tragedy. It was messed up, and
Yeah,
Kaneki didn't die as a hero. He died as a monster, really, and that's what he's afraid of. He's afraid of losing control again, and that's why it's so much more. I feel so much more impactful when you see Kaneki losing again when he comes back as a Black Reaper. He loses himself again, and you're like, oh, it's the same thing again. But then he finds himself, perfectly. You have Hide being the one who saves him again when he fights Arima, and it's this process of him finding redemption. But the reason why it works is because it was built upon. It wasn't. Yes, Suishida at the last minute switched his ideas, and he wanted to end tragically, but then he decided to make a happy ending. But um, it wasn't forced at the same time. I think the groundwork was already made by him, and that's why he decided to make that happy ending instead of a tragedy. And again, it fits the tone of the sequel series, and it's a nice contrast to that initial, to that first death of Kaneki, and Kaneki then gets reborn, and it's that whole process. So yeah,
yeah. I really like the ending. I think that uh, the happy ending was deserved by Kaneki because poor guy he suffered enough.
yeah,
But
and even
but I get I why people wanted him to like have a bad ending, a tragic ending, because it really fits the character and it really fits the story. But that's the thing you were saying. Like, I think it fits more the first half of the story, the Tokyo Ghoul, and the it's more like I still say it's more like a redemption arc for Kaneki. I think that the was mainly for people to see that Kaneki wasn't the monster he was before, and he actually learned, and he embraced his human side. Because in the Tokyo Ghoul, in the ending of the Tokyo Ghoul, the first season of Tokyo Ghoul, he embraces his ghoul side, and in the second season of Tokyo Ghoul, he is a ghoul. He becomes a monster. He goes completely out of control. He eats ghouls. He still doesn't eat humans because he still has that human side. But in the end, he gives up to the monster and eats his friend. And like the way that Kaneki behaves in the first and second season, it definitely should be a tragic ending. But as Ri comes as a way for us to understand that Kaneki, after all that happened, he is now embracing his human side too, and he's not a ghoul or neither a human. He has become both of them.
Exactly.
Like he was in the beginning. But in the beginning he couldn't understand that. In the beginning he didn't actually knew what he was, and at the end of the story he understood that he was neither a ghoul or a human. He was the connection between both, and that's what I liked about that.